Tamisa, you're looking at me.
Okay.
Yes. So, obviously, the police has had put up that petition saying you should not be holding your demonstration, and the High Court has uh, nullified the demonstration. What is your take on that, and would you say that these protests are the best way to be handling whatever it is that Zimbabweans are dealing with?
Well, first of all, you must understand that we are completely disturbed by the behavior of our police. The police is the police force of the people. It is a people's force and it's supposed to behave as such. You know that the police have their slogan, pro populi, pro lege, pro patria, for the people, for the law, and for the country. So whatever they have to do has to be in line with respecting the people, the country, and the laws. We have the right to demonstrate. We went to the police, not in any adversarial manner, not in any confrontational manner, but fully aware and conscious of our constitutional right in terms of Section 59, that we have to demonstrate, we have to express ourselves freely and peacefully. That's why we have to notify them. We have a constitutional right to inform our police. The police has a constitutional duty and responsibility to provide security, peace, and order. Now, the fact that you then end up having a midnight response is shocking. We did not go Nicodemus when we invited them to be part of the demonstrations by way of providing security. But they invited us through Nicodemus means at night to give us a Nicodemus order, a prohibitive order, which we then challenged in court because we believe in the rule of law. And it doesn't mean that we are so weak or so cowardly that we have to go that route. We know our obligation as citizens to be peaceful, and that's why we go to our police, and we expect better from our police, which we have not received.
However, most of the demonstrations that have been happening tend to then become violent, and you haven't been in the forefront as the leadership to have or hold the protest that you want. For example, you're not there with the people. You're not ensuring that their security.
We are always there with the people. Just today we're there with the people. In fact, we had to exercise restraint. If we had just walked into that park, there was going to be a bloodbath. Because once people see us, they get energized. We are the electricity of the masses. So we didn't want to electrify them because we knew that it was going to be a catastrophe. And we should be thanked for maintaining peace and order. Look at what happened. You didn't get any MDC people, despite the fact that they were not duly notified that the demonstration had been banned at night. They did not do anything to show violence because we did not want to be violent. We don't believe in violence. It's not part of our DNA. For us, peace has to be given a chance. And that's why...
You are also refusing the dialogue.
No, dialogue has to be for people who don't agree. Those who represent one view with those who represent another. I and Mr. Mnangagwa don't agree. So that's why we need a credible mediator to have dialogue. Mr. Mnangagwa is in agreement with Maduku, with all those Muteki. So why should he have a dialogue with his choir? They are in agreement. Let us dialogue with them from one side and myself and the people of Zimbabwe from the other side.
So what has been the impediment to the dialogue between you and President Emerson?
He doesn't want genuine dialogue. He wants mascara on a frog, putting lipstick on a pig to try and beautify it. PR, public relations, no. We want substantive dialogue, genuine dialogue that will understand the issues at hand, address legitimate issues, address the comprehensive reform issues, electoral reforms, address the issue of governance reforms, political reforms, legislative reforms, constitutional reforms, media reforms. It doesn't please us that you are only there as ZBC. We must have multiple voices electronically that are broadcasting. That all comes under the rubric of dialogue. National healing, nation building, national envisioning. Having rapport amongst ourselves as a people, dealing with our past, national healing going forward, international re-engagement, economic reconstruction, economic reform. But that all has to come as a result of dialogue. National consensus, genuine dialogue with an inclusive framework, but also a credible mediator. Not somebody who is going to be thrown around with underwriting and scaffolding by the international community so that there is buy-in by everyone with specific benchmarks and deliverables, time-framed with a sunset provision, so that all of us know that it has to terminate at this particular point. We don't repeat the mistakes of the inclusive government under the GNU. We want to have something practical, have proper transition, and then usher our country into a new dispensation.
We're talking about unity here, you're talking about dialogue, you're talking about how we can work through our differences. And inciting people to go out and hold these protests, is that the best way to go about it?
Giving an insight is not inciting. What we have done is to say to people, you have a right in the Constitution. The right is to express yourself. It's not a mistake, it's not an accident, it's not a hazard to have democratic vent pipes. That's the normal course of things. That's why an engine does have an exhaust pipe, so that when there's combustion, there's an outlet. That Section 59 is to enforce the right of the people to determine the course of events. If they're not happy, they must express themselves. That's why the ultimate authority in this country resides with the people. It doesn't reside with politicians, with the state organs. No. The police are servants of the people. And the people have outsourced their power to the police, to the various state organs, including ZEC. So when they say we want those powers back in order for us to correct a malady in the course of events, it should not be seen as inciting. It should not be seen as a case. It's a blessing that we have such an avenue where people can express themselves peacefully. Why should we be so scared of peace? Why should we be so afraid of peace? You and I have had to endure hours of darkness, hours of queuing for fuel, hours of suffering without our salaries, hours of not having cash in the banks. Is that normal? We have to come together and find a common solution. And we are saying peace is simple. Peace is about expression. We are expressing ourselves. Do you think that we would go and mobilize these few stones that the police were saying they were coming from the MDC? Do we look like